My name is Amanda Reid, and I am the Mellon Postdoctoral Fellow in TAPS. I went to a very small liberal arts college for my undergraduate degree. I really went to school not knowing what I wanted to be. I knew I was interested in art. I was interested to some extent in studying performance, if not doing performance. But it wasn't until my senior year that I took my first performance arts class called Perceptual Intelligence. And it was just this class that completely opened up my mind to the potential of performance, not just as an area of study, as someone who loved, you know, watching dance and musical theater, but also as this really amazing way to make connections with other people, to do social justice minded and community work. And so that was kind of my introduction to performance studies in school. I also was an Africana studies major. I'm Jamaican, and I never had the chance to really learn about Caribbean history in any of my classes growing up. Most people had no idea where, my parents' country of origin was. And so to be able to learn about Caribbean studies and what I think is the really crucial place that the Caribbean has played in building the New World was really, really mind opening for me. And I knew by the time that I left college that I was really interested in working with Caribbean and Black communities, and also that I wanted to be someone who facilitated and wrote about and thought about performance for artists. My first published piece was actually as a undergrad in the Mellon Mays Undergraduate Journal. So I'm a Mellon Mays Scholar, which is a gateway program for mostly folks of color. I published a piece about Jamaican beauty queens and performance. I got to go to Jamaica and meet a bunch of former beauty queens and talk to them about how their roles as women representatives of a Caribbean nation were facilitated through these idealized performances of femininity that they um, learned how to do with such virtuosity through the pageant world. And it was also really cool to have my first research project be one where I was working with living people, just like I often work with living dancers. And I had to negotiate the kind of ethics and also the affinities and friendships that you form with your research subject. So that was something that really got me turned on to research the kind of messiness and the ways in which it really links to a lot of ethical questions that we have to grapple with in our real lives and our everyday relations with other people that and communities that we care about as activists and scholars. After college, I worked at a very small nonprofit museum. My choice to go to grad school in some ways was, because it's very hard to be a young person living in Brooklyn, trying to, pay their bills and work in the arts. And also because there are all these ideas and things I wanted to study more, and the way that the museums work is that you're constantly switching gears, changing ideas, responding to people in real time, which is amazing. But I kind of selfishly really wanted to be focusing on some of the issues I was really interested in. So I applied for grad school, again, not totally knowing what my project was going to be, what discipline I wanted to be in. I ended up in a history program mostly because it seemed like a space where in some ways the disciplinary boundaries were a little bit nebulous, and I could study anything I wanted. Kind of got to choose people from dance studies, from American culture, from Latin American studies, and kind of create my dream team to work with and really help me to explore some of these issues that were still kind of bugging me from my undergrad career after working in the quote unquote real world. We're all at home watching TV on our screens right now. And so I've gotten incredibly into RuPaul's Drag Race as a source of joy, as a really I think really fun queer and complicated queer performance, and as kind of a fandom that I really love, and so that's something that I'm really excited to bring into my classes. I also am really into looking at sports as pro sports as performance. So I got very into Netflix Cheer, and the ways in which we treat athletes and their bodies. I'm really interested in the WNBA and the activism that they're doing right now. And I think that these are really important and really, I think, topical performances that are happening in our world today that are shifting the cultural conversation about what people who entertain us are able to do in the world, and their role in American society and as idealized nationalist symbols. So sports and drag race are maybe my two obsessions right now.